Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to another live. Today is live number 9. Yes, live number 9 with a very young-looking 43-year-old mum of 3 from Rockford, Michigan, who is actually a rock star as well.
Yes. I can't wait for you guys.
Meet Sarah and look at how young she looks. Sharny and I are just amazed at how young Sarah looks. She looks like a 20-year-old.
Yeah, you definitely look like you're in your 20s.
You look like the age where your mum would be upset with you having kids. Like you're too young.
And her youngest baby is 17, so she's definitely wow. Anyway, Sarah, can you quickly, even though Julius has pretty much said everything, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Yes, I'm Sarah from Rockford, Michigan. Not quite as cool as Julius likes to make it sound, but it's a sweet little town. And I'm married to my husband, Joel. We've been married for 23 years. And we have 3 kids. Marley is our oldest. She's 22, and she's finishing up her degree with Berklee College of Music. And she's in a band that just got signed.
What?
I know.
Wow.
So cool. And our middle child is Miles. He just turned 21, so he's enjoying life right now. And he's in film college. He wants to be a filmmaker someday. And our baby, as he said, is 17, and that's Camden. He's still in high school. And he is, there they are.
And which one's Camden, the blonde hair? Is he the youngest?
Yeah, he's the baby. He's the one that went to homecoming tonight. He's out with friends still.
Oh, you worried about him?
No, he's such a good kid.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's so good. You actually look like your daughter and you could be sisters.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone's going to comment going, oh my God, you're 43, you look so young.
Secret?
Yeah, it's so good.
Well, apparently the secret is to eat a plant-based diet or be a rock star. One of those two. Let's talk about either of them.
Okay, so let me fill you in now. Sarah's done our program. She did the vegan option, the plant-based option to it. She's 99% plant-based. So I guess that would mean sometimes you'd have organic meat.
Yeah, what's the
occasionally?
1%?
Actually, my 1% is pretty much seared tuna. I love it.
That is a really good diet, and I think it's a really good. I've got to wear high heels because I'm really short compared to Julius. Otherwise, the interview would be like this.
You just rocked me.
And I just stood on his toe with my stiletto. Okay, so the main thing that I love about plant-based and calling it plant-based rather than vegan is, yes, you live a vegan lifestyle, but occasionally if you have a little bit of tuna or something like that, if you say you're vegan, people are like, well, you're not vegan then. So we like to call ourselves plant-based as well. It's a great way to live a lifestyle. Well, I do.
I'm the absolute opposite.
Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm excited because it's one of the main things we get actually asked about. Well, one of the questions in the program is, how do vegans do it? Like, how do we give up fruit? And whilst we say giving up fruit is a good option, because when you're addicted to sugar, it doesn't matter what sugar it is. Some people panic if they're vegan. What am I going to eat? What am I going to eat? And even if you have cut your fruit back, like you suggest, it's okay. So we're excited to talk to you. So hit with the first question.
And pastas, because most vegans, what you have to turn to is grains. So how did you go with that, Sarah?
Yes. Well, I was only plant-based for about a year before I found your program. And I did lose a little bit of weight going vegan, but not as much as I thought I would, just with it being such healthier food. But the reason was that I had substituted everything, all the meat, all the cheese, with grains, essentially. They were healthy grains. I was eating brown rice and quinoa and brown rice noodles, but every dinner had carbs in it. Yeah. And, it took your program to really realize like how many carbs I was eating, because it just was a natural thing to substitute those other foods we were not eating anymore. So I just had to switch it around and substitute them with more veggies.
Yeah. And have you learned that there's so much you can do with vegetables?
Oh my gosh, yes. I like to cook. So I had fun on your program. Like it was a challenge to me to make things that tasted good, that like when I would serve it, my husband would be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it's all vegetable.
Yes.
So
it's so amazing. So if anyone can get anything from this live, there is so much you can do with vegetables. And it's so incredible seeing all the mums and dads in our community, firstly learning that for the first time, but then starting to play. And even people that can't cook start to get really passionate about how much you can do with a cauliflower, how much you can do with the zucchini. There's just honestly the limit like are endless, like the options are endless, I mean. So so what are some of the things that you experimented with cooking with vegetables?
Well, I have to say quick that the Nourish cookbook, I think, is a game changer that you guys brought out. I think it's amazing that, you know, you put that all together, compiled that for all the members, because I point people to that all the time on the Facebook page, because it's like 100 recipes that are like tried and true. People have actually made these recipes. They love them. They worked with them when they did Nourish. So I love that. I think it's amazing. But my favorites, I did like an egg roll in a bowl. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It literally tastes like you're eating an egg roll and it's all vegetables. That's all that's in it.
Can you please describe it for everyone how you do it?
Yes, you chop up a bunch of cabbage. I like to use green and red cabbage, and saute that in a little bit of coconut oil and whatever other veggies you want. It called, like, you know, normally you would put in like shredded carrots and stuff, but I used sliced peppers, like you guys call them capsicum. Yeah. I learned some words on this plan. I was Googling stuff all the time. What is a capsicum? We call those bell peppers. So all the colors of peppers. And whatever veggies you like, mushrooms, all that, you just slice them all up, saute them in a tiny bit of coconut oil, and then throw some of the coconut aminos in there. So good. And then you top it with toasted sesame seeds, and it gives it that sesame flavor that like egg rolls and, you know, Chinese food have. Oh, so good.
Everyone's going to be so hungry right now. So if you've just tuned in, Sarah's 43. Can you believe it? Look at her. She looks like she's in her 20s. She's finished our program. She did the vegan side of it. So she's plant-based, predominantly plant-based. So we were just talking about how incredible it is and how much you can do with vegetables. And where a lot of vegans or plant-based people will go not wrong, but have challenges when they're trying to lose weight, is they drive towards a lot of grain. So they start to have a lot of brown rice and all those sort of things. But if your body's inflamed and you're struggling to lose weight, when you eliminate grains and obviously dairy, but you're not going to be having dairy when you're vegan. When you eliminate things like that, your body has a chance to just reset itself. So whether or not you bring those in later is up to you. But for a lot of people, they don't really know. And you've said this so many times in our books, you don't really know until you've tried it, because you've had it all your life. Then all of a sudden you cut it out and your body's really starting to perform better. So that's what's happened to Sarah, is she's already was plant-based vegan. And then she decided to do the program. She cut out grains and she didn't have a lot of weight to lose. So Sarah didn't. How much weight did you lose, Sarah?
I'm like right around the 120 pounds right now. And I started off, well, that's kind of part of my story, is I started off, I think, around 138, 140. I didn't actually weigh myself that morning because I bought the program on a Friday night and I started Saturday morning.
Wow.
I was all in. I scrolled, just scrolling through Facebook, and I found your post. And the funny thing is, it said my sister had liked your page. So I started texting her, like, did you do this and not tell me about it? How could you not tell me? And she had apparently just seen your ad and liked your page, but she never did the program. So she's like, no, I didn't do it. So I was like, I totally am going to do this. it's $47. I'm like all in. I'm going to do this. I'm doing it tonight. Like I was,
wow.
the funny thing is my husband was on a work trip and all the other wives were there. I was the only one that had to stay home because of work. And it was a beach trip and they were all having a fabulous time and they were in the pool and they were, you know, posting pictures at the beach. And I was so sad I was not there, but I also was kind of relieved because I was like, I would not want to be in a bikini in front of all those other wives right now. And I had decided I was going to surprise my husband with a beach vacation because I had to miss that one. And so it was like all happened at the same time. I was planning the beach vacation. I saw your ad. I was like, oh, sweet. I'm going to lose 10 pounds before I go on this vacation. I ended up losing 19 before I left for the vacation.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I was all in right from the get-go. I couldn't wait.
Wow. So Sarah, what do you do for work?
I have a very exciting job. I sell tax forms.
Tax forms.
That sounds fun.
I just blanked out for a second. What was that?
Sorry. I know. I joke about it all the time. I tell people it's always what I wanted to do when I was a child. But
You're so funny.
But in the US, I don't know how it is in Australia, every single person gets a tax form from their company. And I sell the forms to the company. So, yes.
I had no idea that's how it worked.
Yes.
That's really interesting. So,
not really very interesting.
Let's keep talking about that.
No. We won't promise. We'll get back onto it.
I got to ask you about, you said you've only been plant-based for 1 year. So there's two things I got to ask you. You say plant-based, you don't say vegan. So there's obviously some issues there with veganism.
Well, if you're vegan, you never have any kind of animal products. You don't wear leather. No,
I know, but it could be because, like, there's different types of vegans. There's like the hardcore vegan, and then there's other people who they are definitely vegan, but they don't like to call themselves vegan in case everyone goes, yeah, you're one of those people.
Right.
So I want to ask you about that. And then the second thing is you've been vegan for a year now. So why did you start?
Okay, so first of all, the reason I would call myself plant-based is, like I told you earlier, I don't think we were live yet then, but I eat, like, I'll have seared tuna maybe 2 or 3 times a year. It's just something that I love. And every once in a while, if I'm out at a restaurant and it looks fabulous, then I order it. I probably eat cheese maybe once every month or two, mostly because it's hard to go vegan when you're out. People just don't understand it. They bring you a bowl of vegetables and that's it. You know, if you're out and, you know, want something yummy to eat, you usually kind of have to go more vegetarian, for me personally, and in the area that we live in. So, but the reason that we went vegan, my husband and I both did the same day. And we watched a documentary, and I'd watched all of them, all of the different documentaries that are about health and about cutting out meat. And I never really felt like they applied to me because we always ate really healthy meat. Like I would get local organic meat. We had like a quarter of a cow in our basement fridge when we went vegan. Because we had bought it a few months before. But this particular documentary talked about just what it does to your insides a lot more. And it kind of scared my husband and I both into it. You know, he had watched the documentary the night before and woke me up the next morning and said, we have nothing to eat in the house. Like, what are you talking about? I just went to the grocery store. Like the whole refrigerator is full and the freezer. And he's like, there's nothing to eat. You have to watch this documentary. I think we need to go vegan. And I was just like, no, we are too much of foodies, like, to go vegan. Because at that point, you know, and that was before I even tried your program, I was like, how can you cook with only vegetables? And that's the reason that I was adding in so many carbs at the beginning. It's just so easy to throw some quinoa or brown rice and, all that into a meal to fill it out. But now I'm
Sarah, do you think for someone that really wants to look at the option of plant-based and going vegan, that our program is a game changer for that, to really show options of vegetables?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would not have signed up for the program if it didn't have a vegan option, because I don't want to take the time to figure that out. Like I said earlier, I literally signed up for the program because I wanted to lose 10 pounds before we went on vacation. And 10 pounds was myself, like, limiting myself to what I had always gotten back to, like that weight where I was like, I'm sort of happy with myself there. So I'll just, that's my safe space. I want to lose 10 pounds. And hopefully if I pay these guys $47, they'll help me lose 10 pounds. And I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how much this program changed my life. I mean, not only have I lost more than 20 pounds now, but I have to, like, even though we're not talking about this right now, I have to talk for a second about, like, just the daily affirmations and the I ams and all of that. It literally has changed my life. I'm a completely different person on the inside. I look different on the outside too. Even, 20 pounds is still 20 pounds, but the inside is just so different. I've always had such negative thoughts, and I've always been so mean to myself. And I jumped right in at the beginning, the very first day. I was exercising and I was saying my I ams, and I felt like a complete idiot. Like exercising, like, I am an athlete. I am going to be the weight I want to be, and I am going to finish this program. And I was just like, I'm like yelling at myself, I ams. I'm like, because I didn't believe them. It took me, weeks, probably months, before I really started to believe them. But I just had to put that in there quick, because it was a game changer for me. I mean, just, it's crazy. Like,
I'm so glad you brought that up, because people think sometimes people that know about I ams and know about just being kind to yourself get it. But some people come in and go, okay, this is really a bit weird. Like, do I just say it, but I don't believe it? But if you keep doing it, even if you don't believe it, it will eventually, it's a scientific fact, it'll eventually, you will believe it.
Yeah, it works.
The program's called Fit, Healthy, Happy Mum, or Fit, Healthy, Happy Dad. It's not just about fitness, because a lot of times you'll notice people who try and get fit, and you might have gone through this because you said you did a lot of yo-yo dieting. So people try and lose weight at the cost of their own health and their own happiness, whereas we try and do the other way around, whereas to make you happy and make you healthy, and then the fitness and the weight loss comes as a result of that, not the other way around. Yeah,
absolutely. I was always in that, like, mindset of, like, okay, you made yourself fat, so now I'm going to punish you by making you exercise, by making you eat certain things. And it was such a different approach to it this time. Like, I started thinking of it more of like, I love to exercise now. I literally get up every morning. I put on my exercise clothes, and it's the first thing I do. And I feel like I need to do it now. Like, I need that, like, adrenaline and those endorphins, and I love it. And I feel like I'm, like, honoring my body now rather than punishing it.
So amazing. And you're amazing.
Yeah. I think maybe even just the mindset has made things just so different. I mean, before your program, I had done so many things, so many awful diets. And, I did some great programs too. I did like a full round of a program called P90X, which should have made me so strong. But because I wasn't, like, really buying into it, I wasn't believing in myself, I literally did that whole program and could not do one push-up, like full military push-up at the end of 90 days. And just yesterday, I posted a video on the Facebook page of myself doing 25 full military push-ups. It's because of Dagmar. That girl, she likes to, get us all, challenge us all and get us all to work harder. So yeah, it's just crazy what your body can do when you actually give it the right foods and when you're nice to it.
You become way mentally stronger. And what about for your family and your husband and your kids, and how are they seeing that side of you?
Hopefully good. My husband did not follow the Fit Dad program, but he did eat whatever I cooked. And so he, of course, lost some weight. And the other thing is I think because he saw me getting up and exercising every morning, he got back into playing tennis again while I've been on the program. So that's kind of his fun, way to work out. And he'll go out and play for a couple hours some days now. So yeah, it's kind of nice to see that.
Has he said anything to you? Have your kids said anything to you?
My husband, yeah, he's always saying things. I mean, the other night he was like, "Oh my gosh, your arms are amazing."
That's so cute.
But he's fabulous. I mean, he loved me when I was 198 pounds and about to deliver our second child. He's always been amazing. But now I feel like I like myself, so I allow him to like me more, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And thank you for saying that, because I think for a lot of people, they don't believe their husbands because they hate themselves so much. And their husband's like, and I've been through that. You've been through that. You want to share that, how you used to say, you'd say, how beautiful you are, like your husband does, but when you don't believe it,
you make him into a liar. Like, you're just trying to be nice to me, when he's actually not just trying to be nice. He's telling the truth.
So I think the most important thing for whatever anyone does on a health and fitness journey, whatever program is, you've got to love yourself. And that's why it's so important that element is in our program, because you can do burpees all day, you can run, you can do whatever exercise, or you can eat healthy. But if you're not loving yourself and finding that happiness, which is a habit as well, it's a lot lonelier road, or a lot harder road.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's my biggest change. And, like I said, like you said, when you introduced me, I didn't lose a lot of weight. 20 pounds for me is a lot. I mean, that was huge for me. Like I said, I always lost that same 10 pounds or so and got to kind of where I was happy. But when I started on the program and realized, like, oh my gosh, this is actually going to work, I totally changed my goal weight and everything. And then kept going past that even. I mean, like you said, the reason I did the program was to try and lose weight for that beach vacation. And I totally smashed my goal for that. And then because of you, Sharny, saying that you need to have a 2 pound or, a couple pound buffer at least, I did that before we left and went to an all-inclusive resort for a week and came back below my goal weight, which is just mind-blowing to me, because I've tried to get to that weight my entire adult life. Never happened.
Let alone below it. You look amazing. And I know everyone watching the live is like, you're a babe. You look so beautiful. And you look so happy. Your face is just glowing. And you truly do radiate happiness. And that is honestly what life is about, is why go through life being miserable when you can be happy?
It's hard to believe that you were so self-deprecating and so hateful towards yourself. Looking at you now, you just seem so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was definitely ingrained in me for a very long time. Every time I looked in the mirror, I only saw the faults. I only saw the parts that I didn't like. And, I'm nowhere near perfect. Nobody is. I never will be. But I finally got to the point where now I am accepting all those bits and pieces that maybe I don't love as much.
What's perfect? What do you think perfect perfect is.
I think you're perfect for you. I think that's the main thing, don't you?
Yeah, like you said there, no one's ever going to be perfect, but what is actually perfect other than being yourself?
Yeah. And that's what I am working on, is just
you got to work on that shit, my friend.
Because I think people
'Cause you are
strive to this
perfectly you.
perfect to what other people think or what they should be through other people's eyes. But when you just go, you know what, I'm perfect for me, and you just become content, which is what you have done, become content in what's perfect for you.
Perfect for me, perfectly me.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, one of my I ams was I am who my husband sees me, because he always saw something that I didn't see. So, and I wanted to see that. I wanted to be who he thought I was. So.
And you are?
I am.
What? Say it now.
I am. Like, I'm worthy of his love, and I'm worthy of being happy in my own body, and I'm worthy of not being mean to myself. So yeah, it's been huge change.
Do you ever say mean things to yourself still?
Every once in a while, but I catch myself now.
How do you catch yourself? What do you say to stop yourself? What's your I am that kind of pulls yourself?
Actually, I had read something that said that every time you think a negative thought about yourself, you have to come up with 3 positive things to say about yourself. So I try and do that, like, as soon as one of those negative thoughts creeps in. And I call them my mental cheats, because, everybody cheats when they're on a diet and all that. So I kind of feel like those, because this was the biggest part, the biggest change for me with this whole program, I kind of started referring to those as my mental cheats. And I still have them every once in a while. I mean, when you guys messaged me and asked me to do this live, that was the first thing that popped in my head, was like a negative thought. Like, why would you do this? Because you only lost 20 pounds. You're not like one of these amazing women who are like running marathons now, or, a triathlete or whatever, and that was the first thing, like, who's going to want to listen to that? But I immediately said, you know what, there's somebody else out there. There's another 43-year-old mom, or younger or older, who feels like I felt, like, who doesn't like themselves right now, that 20 pounds that they're carrying feels like 50 to them. And they're not happy, and they're mean to themselves, and they want to live differently. And that was the thing that made it like, okay, you have to do this, because even if one person watches it and says, I'm going to change my life, I'm going to do this, it'll be worth it. Because if one person could feel like the difference that I feel in the short amount of time that it happened, it's worth it.
So true.
Wow. Have you cheated other than the mental state?
With the 8-week program, I would say I was pretty strict. Like, I'm kind of a rule follower.
Is that why you sell tax forms?
So for the 8 weeks, like, my big cheats would be like, I'd eat cooked carrots at dinner. Ooh,
oh, you bad girl.
I'm a rebel. And I had fruit a couple of times, but it was crazy to me how quickly my mindset changed. I mean, I was literally like a dark chocolate and glass of red wine every single night kind of girl. And a couple weeks into the program, my job share partner, she pretty much, like, we shared that job together, and which took a lot of stress off of me. She quit. And I came home and I had a full wall of red wine. I had chocolate bars in the freezer. And instead I went and chopped up some watermelon and threw it in some sparkling water and posted a picture on the Facebook page. like, hey guys, I need some support right now because I'm freaking out. But here's my
Just
cheat.
all this shit
I'm
on my
having
own.
some watermelon. So,
That's so awesome.
yeah.
I'm just so proud of you. I think you're incredible. For you now, what's next for you? Like what, it doesn't matter about everyone having to run a marathon. That's just some goals for some people. But the reason that I adore you and I think you're so incredible is, one, you didn't have a lot. It's not like you had all this weight to lose. You had enough weight to make you happy. You know, you had enough weight that you wanted to lose to be happy. The next step, I guess, for you now that you're maintaining and you've reached your goal weight, which a lot of women only have a little bit. So it's so good for them to see that it's possible.
You know, it's funny. I was just talking to a girlfriend of mine about this last night, because I kind of was like, you know, what if they ask me that? Like, they're going to try and make me run a marathon, and I don't want to run a marathon. And I said, you know, I just want to live like my life, but be happy. And I mean, I do little challenges like the 25 push-ups this week. You know, I had gotten to 20 about 2 months ago. And so it's been like a slow progression of like, okay, you know what? I want to get to 22 tomorrow, you know, and maybe by next month I'll be to 24. And it's just little things like that I actually, I still cannot do a full pull-up on my own. And that's my next goal. I'm going to do a pull-up. I'm going to be doing more than one pull-up by the time I turn 44. So got a few months here.
That's the perfect goal. And the fact that you just said, you know what, I just want to be happy. That's pretty awesome. Like, for people that have really, and there is so many mums and dads out there that really do live themselves in a dark place in their head, you know, hating on themselves. So for you to share that with us, thank you, because I know for a fact that you've helped thousands of people by just sharing that one message.
So here's the first one from Tara. She wants to know, did you become exhausted, sick, or tired during your first few months on plant-based?
No, I did not. I didn't have a very tough transition. I don't feel like I ate a lot of meat before that. I mean, we always had meat at our meals, but I didn't eat like a lot. And like I said, it was always really good quality meat when we did. But I didn't have a problem with it. My husband had a little bit harder time. And we actually, I was laughing earlier because Sharny was laughing at you saying you're not plant-based. We like to call my husband now a flexitarian. He at home, he likes to eat plant-based, but we'll go out to dinner or something. We went out and had some salads last night, and he ordered a steak, and he's like, you know, if we get to the restaurant and he's like, oh, it's local, it's grass-fed. It's like, I'm totally getting a steak. So he's the one that wanted to go plant-based, and now he's my little flexitarian.
So cool. That's a good name. I've never heard that. Have you heard that before? That's what you are. You're a flexitarian.
I'm a carnivore. And to finish Tara's question, she wants to know, is the seared tuna to assist with cravings of protein, and do you take vitamin B12?
I do take B12 every day. I started doing that when I went plant-based just because I had read so many people have problems with that. But I actually had a full blood panel done after I did Nourish. I just was curious, like, you know, am I okay with being vegan now for over a year, and now with losing all this weight and everything, you know, I mean, obviously not a lot of weight, but for me it was, and everything came back perfect. So I do take the B12 just to be safe and make sure I'm getting that. And the seared tuna, I would say it's less of like craving protein than it is just craving the taste of it. I just
love it.
Seared tuna, yes. It's one thing I just don't think I'll ever be able to give up.
That's so cool.
So in following this question, Jody Schultz asks, she bought the program a few days ago and she's scared to start. She feels plant-based is the way to go. How do you actually start?
Well, as I said earlier, it was a little different for me. I literally just jumped in because we were already vegan. I knew I had a lot of veggies in the fridge, which you need a lot of veggies when you start. So before you start, go shopping. I did not do shopping, but I already had so many veggies in the fridge. I knew that I could just jump in and do it. So for me, that worked. And I made mistakes the first couple of weeks. I ate things that were not on the plan, but it really didn't. It doesn't matter. Like we talked about earlier, there's no such thing as perfect. So
yeah, exactly right.
Just like, even if you start slowly, like with the the Happy Mom program that you call it now, just making little changes. If you feel like you can't jump into the Nourish right away, like I did, start with that and get rid of the dairy, get rid of the, some of those things that are probably making you feel not very good. I can't believe the difference, even because I was eating such healthy carbs. I just assumed that they were fine for my stomach and for me. But even just adding some of those back in maintenance, I've realized some of them are not okay for me. So
that's so powerful. And thank you for bringing up the fact that I'm a rip the Band-Aid off kind of person, and a lot of people are, where you just want to give up grain, sugar and dairy and get straight into it and get rid of the weight. But some mums aren't. They just want to take baby steps, and that's why we brought in the Happy Mum diet, is just be happy. And just if you start, like Julius said, by just eliminating one thing a day or one thing a week, you're taking those steps. Rather than doing it on your own, you've still got the support of the community, and maybe in a month you might be ready to jump into Nourish. Yes. And if you're not, then that's okay. You're still getting healthy. So thank you for bringing that up, because a lot of mums feel like, well, I'm not ready to do Nourish completely, and that's totally okay. But what's not okay is when you're kind of left on your own and you're scared and alone, you don't have the support of other people just to make you feel better every day. So that's a huge thing.
And if
the Facebook page is, I don't even know what to say. Amazing. I mean, it's just, it's a complete game changer. I mean, like I said earlier, I've done so many different diet programs. I've done so many different things, but to have like the support of, what is it now, 17,500 other people that are trying to do the same thing as you, it's crazy. Yeah. It's and I know you, I'm sure you see that I'm in there still. Like,
it's amazing. Thank you.
There were so many people when I started that when I would jump on there and say, oh my gosh, can I eat this? Or what am I supposed to do now? Or, help, my job share partner just quit and I'm drinking sparkling water and eating watermelon. Help me not drink a glass of wine tonight. And there was always somebody there to support, not just somebody, like tons of people. You would get so many responses and so many people lifting you up and encouraging you. And so I definitely feel like I have to pay that forward now in the community, because it wouldn't have worked the same. This program wouldn't have worked the same without everybody else there cheering you along or picking you up when you do like have a bad day. It's just a game changer.
That's so good. And just on Jody's question as well, when she said she's scared, you've got obviously your normal Nourish where you're having your chicken and your fish, and then you've got your vegan option. What some people do is they might start with the normal and have a little bit of chicken or a bit of fish, and then a couple of days a week they'll do the Nourish option where it's all mainly veggies and you're having some avocado and things like that brought in. So it's up to you to make it work for you. So some switch and will do normal Nourish vegan across the week, or 1 week, or whatever. It's not a matter of there's a blanket rule. It's really, look, how can I be happy and healthy, and just take those steps towards a healthier lifestyle. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah,
Sarah,
absolutely.
being vegan?
Yeah, and I encourage people a lot of times on the Facebook page that, if somebody says like, how can I give up avocado? They're so healthy and they're so good. And I just say, hey, do a vegan day, get your avocado fix in. And then tomorrow go back to eating your chicken or your fish or whatever you want. So it's nice to have the different options too. With the healthy or the Happy Mom option. And then like I pretty much switched to the athletic plan once I went into maintenance because I wanted some direction on what should I reintroduce now? Because after doing 12 weeks of Nourish, you kind of feel like, okay, now what do I do? So it was nice to have so many different options. And the carb cycling, I never really got into that because it sounded like too much math.
Yeah, some people love it or they're like, nah, not interested. And I'm not interested and Julius loves it. So it's,
I'm a nerd.
It sounded like homework to me.
So did you know you were going to be this well known? Like there's so many people know you now and look up to you.
You're a celebrity.
You actually are a celebrity to 17,000 people.
Yeah, no. It feels like a community there, it doesn't feel like, I think everybody in there just wants to support each other, even if they started yesterday or if they've been in for a year or more. It doesn't feel like, there's certain rock stars in there, of course. You see the posts from like Steffi and everybody is just like, oh my gosh, you are amazing, and there's so many amazing women in there, but it doesn't feel like there's any like hierarchy or like, you've been in for this amount of time, so you get to give more advice or anything. There are people that have been in it for one day that'll jump on and somebody will ask a question and they'll say, oh my gosh, I just asked this yesterday. I know the answer.
So good.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I'm so grateful for that component of the program. And the whole program is just amazing to me. The fact that it was so inexpensive. I literally tell people all the time, it's the best $47 I've ever spent in my life.
Wow, that's amazing.
Just the change in the way that I treat myself was worth, I could have spent a lot of money on probably counseling or something to get there eventually, but I didn't even realize it was that much of a problem until I did the program. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be talking nicely to myself. And I didn't even realize how mean I was being to myself until I did the program and started really like focusing on the I ams and affirmations and that kind of stuff. It's huge. I can't even say enough about it.
They're at the age where they know that you're flawed. They've worked it out. Mum isn't a god. She's actually flawed.
And she's human.
And she's human. So have they noticed, your kids said to you, because two of them are off at college, have they come home and gone, wow, Mum, you're actually so much calmer and happier? Have they said any of that yet to you?
Positive or anything?
I don't think that they specifically have said that. Obviously they've noticed the difference physically and they haven't specifically said it, but I know that they know it. I know that they notice it. I think I'm happier all around in life. So I know they notice it.
And have you been helping them with it as well? Have you been helping them to be kinder to themselves?
I really tried to raise them that way. Even though in my own mind, I was tearing myself down, I was trying to raise them to be the kind of people who lifted themselves up, because I knew how it felt to be inside my own brain. and I didn't want that for my own kids. I grew up in a very, we'll say, body conscious family that negatively made me look at myself negatively. And I was very conscious of that with my kids growing up, when they were little, and going through those awkward stages and all that stuff, that they loved themselves the way they were, and that, I wouldn't ever shame them for their bodies or for the way they looked, or, I tried to make that very conscious in my parenting, and my husband's the same way. So I don't think that they inherited that from me. I hope they didn't, but.
So you have one sister or more?
Two sisters.
Two sisters. And have you got any brothers?
No brothers. Just the three girls.
Eating each other up.
Not much of that, but yeah, I love my sisters. They're fabulous.
Yeah. And so if you're 43, that means you did grow up in the time where everybody was so body conscious and they literally judged you based on how thin you were. And when you were younger, when we were younger, we're very similar in age, the fear was anorexia because it was so bad to be even slightly overweight.
Yeah.
Is that the sort of stuff you had to deal with at school? And
yeah, I personally, I never went through like anorexia or anything like that. I always loved food way too much to do that. But it just was that negative mindset started at a very young age for me. I literally had a family member who said, "You can never be too rich or too thin," and believed it, and said it to my sisters and I at a young age. And when you're 12 and you are going from being like a little girl to a woman in months, literally for me, it was months. I gained 35 pounds and grew 6 inches in less than a year. I went from little girl clothes to like a size 6 women's. And so of course you're body conscious because your body's changing so much as it is. And I really didn't want to pass that along to my children. I didn't want them to ever feel like they couldn't just be who they are.
Yeah, wow. And I'd love to know, because you're so close to your sisters, have they noticed the change in you? Have they said anything because, they grew up with you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. We just went on a little vacation about a month ago, a beach vacation, which
very nice.
Yeah, which you're perfect for.
I spent the majority of my time in a bikini. It was fun, and I was not self-conscious this time. But yeah, my one sister, she filmed me. She did a little video of me because I was running the hallways at the resort because I wanted to exercise, because I wanted to eat fun foods, and I wanted to have, just relax a bit. So I didn't want to give up my exercises that week. So in the room, I was doing push-ups, and there was a nice sturdy table. So I was doing pull-ups on the table, and they were just laughing at me. And my sister was filming me as I was running down the hallways because I just wanted to get a little run in, and it was really hot outside.
Did you ever think this would be you?
Oh, no, absolutely not. And the funny thing is, another thing I wanted to say, because so many people think that you can't do the extended exercises unless you have a gym or you have access to, an easy place to work out outside. I've been doing the extended workouts for 8 months now, and I have never left my house. I do it all inside my house. My UPS guy thinks I'm crazy because I run in circles in my living room. I measured out 15 meters, and I just divide it and run. So
you say you
I-
don't like them.
yeah, he's walked up. The UPS guy's walked up a couple times and seen me running in my circles. But yeah, a 5K is 333 laps for me. So yeah, you can make it work if you really want it. And I did. So I did it.
So you actually run 333 laps around your lounge room.
I have.
Amazing.
Have you got a carpeted floor?
Nope, it's hardwood. And it's actually been great for me because I actually trained for a half marathon about 15 years ago. And I ran the half marathon. It was for a charity thing. So I went through with it, but I was in so much pain when I crossed the finish line. I said, I am never running again in my life. And I didn't again until this program. And I found that running inside on the hardwood floors for some reason doesn't hurt my knees as much as when I was training outside. So I go slowly. I still, my 5Ks, my time will never be one to brag about, but I do it. I'm running faster than the people sitting on their couches. So
Yeah.
And so you're training for another half marathon, I hear. Just say that?
I told you guys earlier.
No, she's like,
I
she's
know.
she's
That's what I
training
just
for
said.
a chin up.
Yes, I'm gonna
So
do
cool.
a chin up before I turn 44. That's my.
And I want to see a video. All of us want to see a video of that. It'll be a big day.
Oh, believe me, when I get to pull up, I will be posting a video.
Okay, cool. Bernadette has a question for you. She has one problem. She struggles to hold to a recommended meal times of 8, 1, and 6. She often has a longer or shorter break in the middle. Does this influence the success of the program much?
I didn't find that it did for me. I actually would change day to day. I wanted this program to work, and like I said, I followed it as closely as I could, but we did still have social outings. We did still have times that we got together with friends. And so if we were going to go out for a later dinner, then I would just look at the clock when I finished eating, and 14 hours later, I would eat my breakfast. And, that was a huge part of the program for me. The fast, I thought I was going to hate it. I was dreading it when I read about it. That was my chocolate and wine time,
Yeah.
But as soon as I fully bought into that, it was a game changer. And I still do it to this day. I do at least 14 hours every night. I feel so much better when I do. But I was very flexible with the times. I just figured as long as I got all the food in within, the time that is not your fasting time, that I was good to go. I think people get so caught up in the little rules that they don't see the big picture.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for saying that. That's so true, because you just should start. So following on from Bernadette's question, some people will be nurses or doctors and things, and they'll do split shift where they sleep all day and awake at night some days, and it's quite a different roster. So they just work that in for them around their schedule, and that's totally okay. And you'd see as well, Sarah, people are still getting incredible results. But the worst thing you can do is just not start.
Right.
And just stay unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah. My only regret with this program is that I didn't find it years earlier. I just can't say enough good things about it. I just wish I would have found it much earlier in my life, because I could have had a lot more happy years before this. But now,
can I interrupt you completely there? Can you tell us about this bad life you've had until now?
It was not a bad life. I mean, my life.
No, that's what I mean.
Life
You're not the only person who's like this. That's the reason I'm asking. I'm sorry to seem like I'm bullying you, but you're not the only person who's like this. A lot of people.
A lot.
Probably 95% of people live in their own head a living hell about how unworthy they are of anything. What was it like?
Yeah. Well, like I started to say, I have had a wonderful life. I mean, I have an amazing husband who loves me unconditionally. I have 3 fabulous kids, but every time I would look in the mirror, all I could think of were the bad things that I saw in myself. And it just was constant negative. I mean, I nitpicked every little part of my body that I hated. And I didn't appreciate my body for what it could do. I just put it down for what it didn't do. I felt like what it didn't live up.
What did you do? Did you stand in the mirror and look at yourself and say, you're ugly?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I would, and my workouts were like punishment for being fat in my mind, which, I know I wasn't fat. I wasn't ugly. I just was very negative.
And was it in your head? Were you saying these things in your head, or were you saying them out loud?
Oh, no, in my head. But
wow, what sort of things were you saying?
Lots of very specific things. Like there are very specific parts of my body that I hated, literally hated. And I just, and dumb
like
things.
What?
My thighs, my knees,
your knees?
I had.
Did you actually look at their knees?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. If you asked anybody that I knew or that I know, what's Sarah's least favorite part of her body, they'd probably tell you my knees, because I've told it to so many people. I hate my knees. They're ugly. They're fat. They're, but that was one of my IMs. When I started working out, I was like, I am going to have strong thighs. I am going to have strong legs, and my knees are strong, and they are letting me run, and they're letting me work out. And I just trying to anytime something negative came into my head, I would try and think of something positive to say about the same thing. So
and has the ugly knee thing come from someone said that to you? I'm just going to look at the photos of you and check out your knees.
I saw your knees and they look perfectly fine to me. Beautiful.
I can't see that one. It's too far away. Look at those knees.
They are just sexy. And the reason that Julius is talking
looking
about
at the before
this,
photo as well. See whether the knees have changed. Did your knees change, or are they still the same
they
knees?
Did. No, yeah, they definitely changed. My legs have always been where I carry my weight. Yeah, they have that cute little, on babies, it looks really cute when they have those chubby little inner knees. But
yes.
On 40-year-old women, it doesn't look as cute.
and thank you for being so honest about this stuff.
But
I think the knees look fine from here.
I'm okay with them now, and I'm learning to love them too.
Well,
so did you used to wear long pants all the time?
I didn't wear shorts.
You never wore shorts because you're worried about your knees?
Yeah, I actually made a conscious decision after I turned 40. I started making myself wear shorts, but I hated it. I felt so self-conscious all the time.
Now?
I throw on a pair of jean shorts and run to the grocery store now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So
and part of it is just the mental part. It really is. Yeah. It's just me getting over myself. Nobody else cares about your knees, Sarah. Just throw on a pair of shorts and go, because you want to wear a pair of shorts. So do it.
Hey, Sarah, have you ever looked at someone else's knees and gone, ooh?
No. I know.
Never in your life.
I know, it's ridiculous.
You're worried that everybody's thinking that of your knees.
I know.
I've never even looked at someone's knees and gone, whoa, You've got knees like a baby. I've never thought of it. Have you? Have you ever looked
Well,
at
I've
someone's
looked at
knee?
when I was fat. I get it. I was always like, I hate my knees. I need
You're
to lose
looking at
weight.
your knees. Have you ever looked at someone else's knees?
No, I haven't.
Ever?
No.
I've never looked at someone
So I
else's knees.
think the point of what Julius is saying is we're in our head so much hating on ourselves. So thank you for sharing that, because that is a huge thing that I know women, and I know men as well, but I can only talk from a women's perspective, just go through that all the time in their head, just that constant chitter-chatter of self-hate. So the fact that you've overcome that and you've really got so much from the happy element of our program, that it's not just about eating healthy and not just about exercise, it's about mindset as well. And I'm so proud and so excited that you've actually got a lot from that.
My point of asking you that is, and it's not just knees, it's everybody. Some people think they're dumb. Some people think they look bad. Whatever part of them that they don't like. They're so worried about what everybody else thinks of them that they punish themselves for things that no one's even noticed. So if you're always looking at your own knees, everyone else is always looking at what's wrong with them, worried about what you're thinking, and you're worried about what they're thinking. No one's thinking about anyone but themselves and what's wrong with themselves. So no one's even looking at you until you become super happy, and then they go, what's wrong with her?
No, or they might go, wow, she's so happy.
I wish I could be happy like her.
Yeah, that's when I see someone happy, I'm like, oh my God, I love being around that person. They're so happy.
But
Yeah.
Orovex, that's a cool name, says your knees, she's had a pervert your knees. She says they are super sexy now. Muscle changed the shape of your knees.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
Definitely.
And Karen says, Sarah, you're amazing. We are similar in age and you are my inspiration. My goal is to be able to do a pull-up, chin-up by Christmas.
There you go. Guys, same goal.
Sisters.
Okay. I
got a very important question. Important question. You have, how old's your daughter? You said she's 22. Is that right? 21? No. 22. Can you remember being 22?
A little bit. I was probably, I would have been pregnant with my second child then. My husband and I got married very young. And
you guys are actually rock stars. This is for everyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, he is.
They're musicians.
He's the rock.
Well, you are as well, aren't you?
No.
You were, but she was.
You were.
Yeah.
You're way more musical than me.
Yeah. Yeah, 22, I was probably pregnant with my second child. And that was I was thrilled to be pregnant, but it was a low spot for me because I think I mentioned earlier, 2 days before I delivered him, I weighed 198 pounds. And I decided I wasn't going to weigh myself again because I couldn't hit 200. I just mentally, I couldn't do it. I was so just sick of myself. I was not happy. I had my daughter, and then 22 months later had my son, and didn't lose any of the weight after her. So that's what I remember from that time, which is sad now because my daughter is she's 22 and she's having the best time of her life and so happy and stuff. And I hope that I've instilled in her enough that she doesn't have the negative thoughts. It seems like she doesn't as much as I did, at least. I know we all do. It's societal too. It's not just growing up around it. It's so much in society and stuff too. Just that perfectionism and always feeling like you have to live up to something that's just not necessary.
So Sarah, she obviously has had it from you quite a lot, but is there something you would, if you were never to speak to her again, is there something you'd love to say to her now that she can carry for the rest of her life?
Oh my gosh, that's heavy.
Well, it could be you talking to yourself as well.
Yeah, I just, I would say love yourself would be the biggest thing. I hope that she can get to this point where I'm at now, way earlier in life where she can just be kind to herself. That's the big thing that for me with the negative thoughts and stuff, I started to try and think about, like, would you ever say these things to anyone else? Like, and I would be appalled if I ever even thought some of the things that I would say to myself in my head about somebody else. Like, it just, and that was a big like shift for me, was talk to yourself like you're talking to a friend or to your daughter or anyone else. Like, you know, just give yourself some grace and love yourself.
So do you love yourself now?
I do, yes. Do I love all the bits and pieces? I'm working on it. But I do. Yeah, I'm getting there. Much happier.
The stuff inside your head's a lot calmer and more peaceful and happy now.
Yes. Yes. I'm getting to the point where I like can love myself like my husband loves me, like unconditionally. But it's only been 8 months. I'm still working on it.
8 months is a lot longer than most people, or than the Sarah from last year who started and stopped. So
yeah, just huge change for me. Huge.
Yeah. And what does it feel like to actually finish something that you put your mind to?
Yeah, that was another one of my I ams. I was like, I am going to finish this 8-week program. I am, like, there's no choice. And then I ended up doing 12 weeks because I got to the 8 weeks and was just like, okay, this actually works. And I could actually get to like my dream goal. And then I went a couple pounds past that too, because, you know, Sharny always says to have a little buffer. So I did that as well. And yeah, and I've lost a couple more in maintenance too, just I think because I'm working out so much. And which, by the way, I'm anxiously awaiting the Iron Mom.
Oh, awesome. It's coming.
That's me holding it up.
So I can't wait.
Yes, it's definitely coming.
So your husband is your biggest fan and has been ever since he met you. How has this helped your marriage?
I would say it's mostly on my side because he's always been amazing. Like I said, he loved me when I was 198 pounds. He told me that I had the pregnancy glow. I'm like, no, that's not pregnancy glow. But I think because I am more comfortable with myself, I'm letting him like love me more. But yeah, we've always had a really good relationship, and he's always been amazing and accepting of however I looked at any given time in our marriage. But it was funny, after I lost the weight, though, there were a couple times where he was like, this is so weird. Like, I feel like I'm having an affair because you do not look or feel like my wife anymore.
That is so funny.
And I got to say, on behalf of all the husbands, that when you become happy the way you are now, it allows us to let our guard down a little bit more. So we're not constantly having to pick you up with positive comments and always telling you things you want to hear, which are true. But so now I would say, and I'm sure he would agree with me, is that he's able to be far more honest with you. When he gives you a compliment, you now know for a fact it's real, because he's not afraid of the backlash, or that, no, you're just saying that because you want to be nice to me, or you want to have sex with me, you're being nice. You know, that usual thing. So it's really cool for you to be in that place now where I think, and we found as well, where you can be far more honest as a couple and get real compliments.
Yeah.
Not that they weren't real before, madam.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on, Sarah. Have you got any more questions?
Yeah, no,
Because we've
just
got to let
final
her go.
word for anyone. Is there anything you'd like to share before we go?
Yeah, with everybody else.
Oh, goodness. Don't wait any longer. It's my only regret is that I didn't start it sooner. If you haven't jumped in yet, just take the plunge. And if you're already doing it, just believe in yourself and trust the program. And I just want to thank you guys so much for the program. It just has literally changed my life, and I'm so grateful for it. And thank you for having me on here, even though I tried to talk myself out of it.
Yeah, and we're so grateful because everything you've said today has been so huge for so many people. I know a lot of things that you answered and a lot of things that you said were very raw and honest, and there is other women out there in your exact same position. So I know for a fact that you've helped thousands and thousands of women today just by you being honest and sharing yourself. So thank you for helping us change the world because that's really what we're doing. All these parents, mums especially, need to love themselves, because when you are happy and in love with yourself, you can be a better mum and a better wife and just a better person all around for the people around you. So thanks, beautiful, because you're so honest today. Thank you.
And so happy. Like, it's not a lie. We can tell.
Yeah, you can tell that you're
not
happy.
Just putting it on. You can
Yes.
tell you actually do love yourself, and you should.
And you should. You're damn hot, girl.
Thank you.
All right,
Right,
thanks.
everyone. Thank you
Bye.
so
Thanks for
much.
tuning in, everyone.